Yeah, right. I'm gonna.
But I can understand what you're saying about being anxious about going out. I was anxious last week when I went to the supermarket, and I hadn't even been in for as long as you have. That's why I say I do wonder if I'm going to come out of this with some kind of form of agoraphobia, you know.
I don't think I'll be agoraphobic, but yeah. Right, I'm going to hit go live. Are you ready?
I'm ready. We are recording.
Let me see if we're live in the group yet.
We are live.
Lag, isn't there? Oh,
I can see us.
Yeah, I can see. I'd have to look and go, which colour turtleneck are you wearing?
Is it the correct one? What am I wearing? I'm in my PJ, so that's definitely us.
And kind of look down and think, yes, that's today. So that's
me. Yay.
So yeah, I had a little sing this morning to Shine.
I love that song.
Hi everybody, by the way. Sorry.
Evening.
We're just nattering away as usual.
We always just natter away though. What's different?
Yeah, well that's true. Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
It's interesting that I'm looking at this in Zoom and it's quite light, and then I go into OBS and it's quite dark, and then I look on Facebook and it's very light, and depending on what screen I'm looking at, I'm thinking, do I need to put a light on?
That's apparently not. You seem all right on Facebook, which is the main thing, I suppose.
Yeah, that's where people can see us.
So has everybody got a drink? I've got a rooibos chocolate and vanilla tea thing.
Oh,
yeah, it's quite nice.
Interesting. Is it smoky tasting or?
A little, yeah. I can't describe it. I'll have to send you some so you try it.
Well, I've got a mug of builder tea, and I thought you might like to see progress on my cardigan.
Oh, it's coming along gorgeous.
I'm just loving this brown. And this is what's left of my first ball.
Wow.
So
looks really good. I finally got some photos taken of my rose textured cowl today. Because it's got all its innards tucked in where they belong now. Do you remember last time I showed you the innards were all still falling out? So it's perfect now. It's sorted.
All the ends.
Yeah.
It is a thing of beauty.
It is a thing of beauty. So I've taken some photos. I've put them on my project page, put them on Instagram and that. So yeah, I absolutely love that. And I finished my other cowl that I was working on. Just a plain simple one, yeah, just a plain ribbed one. But it's lovely and stretchy in all directions.
Your caption cowl?
Yes, that's the one. Did you like it?
I did.
I thought, you know, Thursday, we'll have a bit of fun on a Thursday, shall we? That was in the middle of taking photos.
I liked some of the comments, yeah.
Some of those comments were classic, weren't they? A sign of the times as well.
Yeah, did you like the to me to you?
Oh, I didn't see that one. Is that a new one?
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet her. To meet her nice. Oh, that was clever.
Oh, that is good. I like that one. I saw the one, did someone sneeze?
Yes. No, that look of abject horror.
Run away!
Save our energy for 8 o'clock.
Well, they are saying now that maybe we should be going out wearing a mask. It's not going to be, you know, 100% effective, obviously, but it might just stop something, is the thinking, I believe.
Well, I have got a mask. Should I show you my mask?
Yeah, come on.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun. I'll have to run across the room and get it.
Okay. I'll just entertain everyone with Arthur barking. If somebody dares to walk past the house. It's quite shocking, really. Oh, I love it. Is that a decorator's mask?
It is a decorator's mask, yeah.
Excellent.
It's the only one I had in the house.
I haven't got any masks, but I've got plenty of cowls, which, you know, they'll offer some protection.
It'll do for shopping, I suppose.
Exactly.
I'm a bit puzzled as to why it's got a bit of metal that's just pinged off the top.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That goes over the top, and you pinch it, and it fits to your nose.
Ah, right. Well, I better not lose that then. Hey?
No, don't lose it, because you're supposed to pinch it on so it fits a little bit better. It's never going to fit perfectly, but it should help a little bit.
Right, I'll keep those together then.
So you need that. You might need to super glue it on or something if it's coming off.
What, on my face?
Well, preferably not on your face, because you might have trouble getting it off completely, and then you'll have to go in the shower and everything with it.
Well, maybe no one would notice.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but just wander around with it until the skin shed.
And we wouldn't comment when you came on here, because we're just not that rude. We wouldn't dare comment.
Well, then you'll all be wearing one anyway.
Well, exactly. Well, I might just stick to a cowl.
I suppose my only worry with masks is, like Christine's been sewing some.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. But the last thing I want to happen is that all of these COVID-idiots go out and start buying PPE when I'd rather it went to a nurse or a doctor or
even carers
that come on the street, you know, rather than someone who's just going to Aldi.
Yeah. So even the people who work in the supermarket, because they need some protection, bless them. I do feel quite bad for them. You know, they're not exactly paid well, and they're in the firing line all the time at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is quite sad. I actually have to brave the chemist tomorrow.
Oh, have you got a prescription to pick up?
Yeah, I rang up this afternoon, and the poor woman, she sounded completely harassed. It sounded like bedlam in there. Right. And I did actually, because I said, oh, do you have to queue and everybody come in one by one? And she said, yeah, we only let a couple of people in at a time. And I was like, oh, well, in that case, Boots do free deliveries, don't they? Could I get it delivered? And she's like, oh no, that's on the website. She said, not actually via us. If you want us to deliver it, it's going to cost a £5 or £55 a year. And she said, you know, you're a spring chicken. I was like, I know I am. I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and go. But she said it's quiet at 4:30. She said that's the best time to go.
All right. Well, so it's a good job we only have sort of a handful of viewers, otherwise everybody would be going to Boots at 4:30 now.
Yeah, but they might be going to my Boots, so I don't mind.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That is true. Because I said, oh, is it best to come in the morning then and queue up ready for you opening at 9? And she actually said they're opening at 10 now. I assume that's, you know, because of all the extra prep or whatever. So they open at 10, and she said it's really busy. There's a queue. So
hi, Yvonne. Yvonne's watching.
Oh, hi, Yvonne.
Are you knitting a top or something, Yvonne? Did I see a ribbed top on Instagram?
Oh, is she?
I'm sure I saw a ribbed top. Looked like it was in a cotton yarn, possibly a grey or something like that. To my old eyes, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. What about completely lost the train of thought. What I was going to say then. Oh, that's what I was going to ask. Is that Emma Jane Sadler stalking us again?
Yeah.
Is she?
Yeah.
Shocking. Who is she?
I do not know.
Where did you find her? So I actually have, because I've finished my tea. Well, I haven't finished it. There's a little bit left, but it's cold, and it's not as nice cold. I like my drinks scalding hot. Look what I have.
Oh, is that red wine I see?
That is a glass of Rioja adult beverage. Woo, woo, woo.
Well, I managed to wrestle the lid off the Baileys. Well, it's not Baileys, it's Faileys, as we like to call it.
Faileys, yeah.
The Aldi's fake version.
And have you partaken of the Faileys?
I had a little bit in my bedtime hot chocolate last night.
Oh.
And I slept till 7:15 this morning.
I'd nearly finished my walk and everything by that time.
No, honestly, I didn't even come downstairs till 7:30. It was 7:45 by the time I'd poured my mochaccino, let the dogs out, put the pasta on for their breakfast.
Yeah.
And stuck the news on just to see what kind of the counts were. And I don't know why I watched the weather forecast, because it doesn't really matter, does it?
Well, unless
you a bit pointless.
Well, I mean, it is for you, but like for me, I'm planning to cut my grass on Sunday now because I've watched the forecast.
Right.
So, you know, I've made my mind up. I've got rid of all the. However, I say that the recycling bins were empty today. We have alternate weeks. So last week was the general bin, and then this week is the recycling bin and the garden waste bin. So I put them both out, and the garden waste hasn't been collected. Now I'm assuming that is them cutting down on their services for the safety of their workers, which is fine, but it's a full bin and I need to cut my grass because it's full from when Phil was home at Christmas, and he filled it up with all the dead leaves and stuff that I just leave to the animals. You know, I never clean that up. He's filled it up. There's literally about that much room at the top of the bin, and I've got a full garden of winter's worth of growth in the grass. It's not going to fit in there.
Well, and all the tips are closed and all the recycling centres. They did
I'm
last week, I think, that most councils would not collect garden waste.
I'm thinking what I'm going to do is take the box off the lawnmower and just let it spread the cut grass all over the grass and just
let it rot in.
Yeah, it'll be fine. And in fact, it's easier cutting the grass that way.
Makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that on Sunday.
Oh, that's good then.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a nice weekend.
So and what wine have you got?
It's Rioja. It's Tempranillo.
Right.
You know the it's my favourite one. It's got a yellow label. Can't remember. No, can't remember. But it's my favourite one.
Okay. Yeah, not exactly a connoisseur of fine wine here. Either like it or don't like it.
I know that it's a Rioja, and I know that the grape is a Tempranillo grape. So, you know, yeah.
Oh, and I had to look upstairs.
Yeah.
And the only box I could get to that had a blanket pack in was this one. I've got another 4 or 5 around the house. And to be fair, I did find Eastern Jewels, which I think is Janie Crow, underneath it. And it was the Starcraft Special DK. But I went for this one because it's an Attic24 colour combo, and it's called the Woodland blanket.
Is that a crochet?
It is crochet. I'll show you the pattern, but I won't be doing that pattern.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's quite nice.
It is very pretty, and I love the colour combination.
So what are you going to be doing?
I'll probably do her granny stripe blanket, but in these colours.
Right, okay.
Or I may do the seashell pattern from the June blanket, which I really enjoyed doing.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
But it takes forever to do the 2 rows for each stripe. Right. And you do have a lot of ends to weave in afterwards.
Oh dear.
And she doesn't turn the work. So you're always joining a new colour on the same side. So I think when you're weaving in your ends, you end up with sort of a lumpy side. So I turn mine when I finish the 2 stripe and then start again from the other side, so that the ends are all in opposite sides.
Right.
And you just end up with a less bulky thing. Oh goodness, look at that light coming through the Venetian blind.
Is the sun trying to set and it's just in the wrong place?
It is. Another 20 minutes and it'll be down past the house across the street.
Well, see, this is the problem where they changed the clocks around. It was all fine until last week.
I know, I keep begging about with stuff.
And also
I must check the comments and see whether Yvonne answered my question.
She did, yeah.
Yeah, so the ripple crop top in worsted weight and started a new sample of her dark princess skirt. Very nice. And wine. Be right back. Need to throw pasta into water. And she's back. Love, love, love. What are you having with your pasta, Yvonne? I did some proper cooking for the first time in probably about 10 days. I made a Chinese chicken curry. I did use oven chips.
I don't mind oven chips.
I did a chicken curry with onions and peppers and a handful of other mixed veg, some chicken breast, and then some of the Chinese curry paste mix stuff that you can get.
Sounds lovely.
It was.
There's nothing wrong with oven chips.
And there's enough left for tomorrow. So.
See, this is the advantage, isn't it, of not having to feed 5,000 people all at once?
Well, yeah, if Jake had been home, I'd have got a third, he'd have had 2/3, and as it was, I could have a super pig portion.
Yeah, and have another one tomorrow.
And another one tomorrow, yeah. So, you know, it's all good.
I'm going to make chili con carne tomorrow.
Oh, do you like kidney beans?
I love kidney beans. See,
I'm not a fan.
No?
I don't mind cannellini, but I don't like kidney beans.
Oh, I like them. Even Callum will eat kidney beans.
It was really good, Yvonne. I'll post a picture later when I can get it off.
It looked very tasty.
Yeah, actual cooking. It felt really nice to make something with real vegetables and not just have tin soup or beans and sausage or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with beans and sausage. It's one of my favourites, but you know.
Yeah. Comfort food is good when you need comfort food, but proper cooking is good when like when you're coming out of that comfort food stage.
Yeah.
You know, I've just been having sausage and mash quite a bit recently. I just really, really, really have been wanting comfort food, sausage mash and beans. Because one, it's quick and easy and I can shove it in the oven whilst I'm busy doing other things and it's done. Well, obviously the mash is on the hob, not in the oven. But tomorrow, because I'm not working in the morning, I'm quite happy to plan to do a chili con carne, because again I can put it on the oven on the hob first thing in the morning. Once you've got all the mince fried and all the stuff in together, you could just leave it simmering low for a while, can't you, until you're ready for it?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. So it's kind of cooking, but when you're ready for it, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like my little ribbies coming on nicely. Beautiful.
Hang on, flip screen.
It's much bigger than your baby cardigan was.
Oh yeah, that's a bit of a whopper, isn't it?
I've gone for 0 to 3 months because my stepdaughter, who is, I think she's about 19 or 20 weeks pregnant at the moment, when she had her last baby, Henry, he was a 10-pounder.
Oh,
yeah. So
I'm wincing at the thought.
It's so funny though. He was a big baby, bless him. She had to have the forceps, and he had the mark on his face where she'd had to have the forceps, bless her. So I know I always buy 0 to 3 months for new babies, and I know that some people did get a newborn stuff and it didn't fit. None of it fitted, or it fitted for like a week and that was it.
Yeah, so the way with a big baby, isn't it?
Yeah. So just to hedge my bets, I mean, at the end of the day, if she has a smaller baby, then that's all well and good. And the 0 to 3 will still fit. It might look a little bit big, and you might have to turn the sleeves up a little bit, but I'd hate to spend the effort of making her a cardigan and it not get used because the baby's too big.
Yeah, that'd be frustrating, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing some little bubba things. And she sent me a picture of a blanket, snuggly blankety thing that she wants me to make. But it's got like a fleecy sheepskin lining, and I don't think I could get hold of one of those to sew into it. I don't know where you'd get one of those from.
What's that place in Yorkshire? I'll send you an email.
All right. You know where I can get hold of one?
Fabric World or something like that. They're on Facebook,
right.
and she can get nearly anything.
Oh, that sounds good. Oh, fab. Not that I think that the baby will be needing anything too warm, considering it's due at the very end of August.
Who knows?
You can't tell with our weather, can you?
Well, and you can't tell the way this year's going either, can you?
It's craziness. Did I tell you that college has changed Easter holidays?
No.
Well, I got an email last night on my staff email, and it was like a heads up because we're going to be telling all the students and their parents tomorrow, i.e. today. So what they've decided is that because obviously we're all on coronavirus lockdown and we're all indoors and we can't go anywhere anyway, that they're going to have Easter next week as was planned, but then on Tuesday the 14th, after Bank Holiday Monday, the students are to go back online and continue their learning, and then hopefully by the time the summer comes they'll be able to finish a week early because they're owed a week from Easter, and the worst of this should be over and people will be able to actually enjoy the time off, whereas at the moment you can't enjoy it, can you, because you're stuck. So I think it makes a lot of sense, to be honest. Keep the kids busy.
Yeah, I suppose it's hard to know what to do for the best. I'm not convinced that we'll all be out of this for the summer, but I could just be a pessimistic.
Well, yeah, but I suppose the other thing is that they've only been online learning for 2 weeks. Yeah. And the other thing is that they don't want them to get out of the habit by having a full 2 weeks off.
No, they don't.
Some students, as can attest to the amount of phone calls that I've had to be making, they're still not in the zone, and me nagging is starting to get some results. So the last thing you want is for them to have 2 weeks off, really, isn't it? No, you don't want anything like that. Yeah, so... Oh, Arthur, have you come to say hello? I really don't want your ball. Yeah. Is that his ball? His ball. His ball. He likes his ball. He's not flinging it against the wall, is he? No, not against the wall. No. On the carpet. There's a lot of panting going on. I'm assuming it's Arthur, but I suppose it could be you. I know you're excited to see me. I know. We're always excited to see you, but at the moment I haven't had enough wine to be panting. I've only had a little sip. I better have some more. Are you not partaking of an adult beverage now that you've got the Baileys or the Faileys open? Once I've finished my cup of tea. I don't want to start too early. And I think I might start eating my free from chocolate buttons in a minute. Ooh, nice. My friend, I love her to bits. She was not too far away from me delivering her mum's shopping. She'd obviously gone shopping in Tesco's this morning, and on her way from her mum's back home, she dropped off a little bag outside the house, and it had about 4 or 5 different kinds of free from chocolate and the book of The Witcher for me to read. Ooh. I mean, how amazing. That was the lovely Michelle Ianson did that.
Was it The Last Wish? The Witcher book?
Couldn't tell you. It's The Witcher. That just goes to show how little I know, doesn't it?
Yeah, that seems to be the one that they've started this series with.
Right. I'm not sure. Oh, look at that, chocolate buttons.
I've got this much chocolate left. You know, from the bars I might have shown you the other night.
Yeah.
Don't know who's eating all of that.
Oh, I tell you what, you've got a food thief in your house.
I believe so. Yeah.
What are you going to do? Are you going to set some traps?
Yeah, I think I should do that.
Oh, Tanya's in.
Bear traps around the fridge, that sort of thing.
Say hi to Tanya.
Oh,
And
hi, Tanya.
And Anne's here.
Oh, and Martin's cooking dinner.
Wow.
Oh, so Yvonne says The Last Wish is the first book. So there you are.
Right.
That's the one I started with. But I'm listening to mine rather than reading it.
You got it on audio?
Yeah, so I can listen and knit. That was my plan. And
yeah.
I'll let everybody know what I think about Disney Plus because I signed up for the 7-day free trial today.
I used to have Audible, and I used to listen to the Outlander books.
Oh yeah,
but I found but because they're so waffly, I found that I was just like losing concentration on what she was saying, and I had to keep rewinding it. It's The Last Wish. I don't know, can you see that?
Just a sec. To swap screens. Yes, I can see that.
So that's the book and the chocolate she bought me.
Oh, very nice.
That's my care package. So yeah. I've got a Shetland book that I'm about halfway through, so I'll have to finish that, and then I'll get on with that one.
I much prefer to watch Shetland though. The books are brilliant, but you know, Doogie.
You just can't beat. There's about 3 of them, I reckon, that are quite good. You know, in Shetland.
Who?
Yeah. Well, obviously you've got the main man himself,
Jimmy Perez.
Yeah, like him. And then I quite like is it Duncan, Cassie's real dad?
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, I quite like him as well. So those
Dodgy
are the other
Duncan. Yeah, he is
a bit
got
dodgy.
a thing for the bad boys.
Well, I don't know. My husband's not really a bad boy, I don't think. Only when he doesn't do what I want him to do.
No, that's naughty though, isn't it? Rather than bad. Yeah.
Naughty. And as Anne would say, he's in big doo-doos.
Yeah.
The big doo-doos for not coming home. He's been moved hotel now.
Right.
The other one was closing down.
Oh, well, he's somewhere safe then.
He's safe. He is safe. And he seems to think he's better off staying where he is. And, you know, at the end of the day, and it's his decision. He's got to make it, you know.
Yeah.
You can't make him come home if he doesn't want to come home. So you could just imagine it, couldn't you, that I'd stamp my feet and cry and whinge and moan, and he'd do it to please me, and then he got ill or something, and he would never forgive me. So
well, and on a flight as well.
That's his worry. And also he said that the flight would only get him to London, so he's somehow got to get another 5 hours up here.
Yeah, we're on about Shetland, Yvonne.
Does Yvonne not know?
She says she thinks she does, but she can't remember the name of it. It's obviously rung a bell.
It's all on BritBox, and I can highly recommend that to anyone who... Actually, I said to my brother, because I think he's got Now TV, I said to him, why doesn't he, while we're all in this lockdown, go through them all, get your free 1 month subscription from all of them, watch it, cancel it, try a month from a different one, watch it, cancel it, try a month from a different one, and then you can go through them all and decide which one you like the best.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I'm keeping my Netflix,
yeah,
just because,
and Amazon because I
and
use
Amazon
it for,
Prime because I use it
yeah,
for books
for
and
the
whatnot.
delivery and that. Yeah,
Yeah,
and Kindle.
yeah,
I use the
I've
Kindle
still
Unlimited
not read
thing.
this. I still haven't read this.
Well, you only got it yesterday, didn't you?
Yesterday or the day before. Not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not
Read it.
long.
I took it up to bed last night and then fell asleep.
Yeah. You must have been tired.
I was shattered last night. I woke up about 4 o'clock yesterday morning and then couldn't get back to sleep. And I think I must have heard something on the street and, you know, just sort of jolted me awake, and that was that. This morning I woke up about 2, looked at me watch, me Fitbit thing, and went, you idiot, go back to sleep. And then, you know, woke up well after 7 o'clock thinking, my goodness, how late is this? It's
How
going to be
lovely.
hard, you know, getting back into a routine.
Did you feel decadent waking up at that time?
It's a bit like being on holiday in that I'm having to check my computer to see what day it is half the time. I don't always know what day it is because I've got no real routine other than at some point during the day we do this.
Yeah.
It's the nearest I've got to any sense of normality other than when I get up first thing, and then the only task I have to do, because I won't get a second piece until I have, is feeding the dogs and letting them out for sort of their morning pee and tank emptying before we go for WALK.
I've still been having my alarm going off. So 5:30, alarm goes off. Cup of tea in bed while I watch the news for a bit. And then into the fields sometime between 6:15, 6:30. Walk the dog, come home. This morning I did a run on the treadmill. Whereas normally I would do some housework at that point and then work. I suppose because I'm still working I say I'm still working from home. Today was possibly my last shift.
Right.
Because they said 2 weeks, and that's been my 2 weeks. So, and I haven't heard whether they want me to work or not after Easter yet. I assume they haven't made a decision yet. So, but I was having really bizarre dreams last night about, do you know these posh French cakes that you can get, like the patisserie type ones?
Yeah.
They were all piled up on a cake trolley, but with, you know, like shelves. And I had to get this really sharp knife and thinly slice these cakes, but from the top down through the shelves. It was bizarre. I mean, how can you cut through shelves? I don't get it.
I don't know if you got some special sword that you borrowed from somebody from Game of Thrones or Thor or something.
No, but it wasn't working, and then I kept getting shouted at because I couldn't cut through the shelves. I don't know, it was really weird. Okay. Something's obviously playing on my mind there. I don't know what it is though. Oh, see, Tanya's saying that she's glad that her iPad's got the day and date in the corner. I think she's probably suffering from the same as you.
It's a complete lifesaver, isn't it, Tanya? It's just.
Or if you watch, I watch GMB in the morning, and it announces Thursday, 2nd of April, 2020, and then you're like, oh, that's all right, then I know what I am. Oh, can you hear him?
Yeah.
I don't suppose you can see him. He's right on my knee with his ball. He's like a toddler, isn't he? He knows as soon as I'm busy, he wants my flipping attention. Yeah,
my two. The second I was setting up the laptop and the camera. The second I plug the camera in and the computer goes doo-doo to tell me that it's connected, that I've done the USB right after 72 attempts. Of
turn it round,
that way, this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way.
From me to you?
The one I started with, yeah. As soon as they hear that, they're like, oh yeah, we've got to go out for a pee now because we're not going to be allowed out for what feels like a week.
Yeah. Oh,
Rita's here. Hi, Rita.
Hi, Rita.
Lovely to see you.
Wait, what's everybody doing tonight? Is everybody making something?
Yeah, I've got a quick. Can you see?
Come on, let's have a look. Don't fling it around so quickly. Hold it still. It's gorgeous. Love it.
Yeah, upside down, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you make them like that, though.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with it. It's such a relaxing pattern to follow now. Oh, Yvonne's got food, so she's good.
Oh, excellent.
I've got my wee bit of chocolate. I will have a slurp of my tea so that it's still kind of hot. But I can drink tea at any temperature. I think it comes with, once you've been a parent, you're just used to cold drinks.
I used to be able to drink my tea cold, but now I think I've got out the habit. So it's got to be roasting hot or I don't want it anymore.
Are you sort of in Mum Island mode?
I think I am, because, you know, those two should be able to sort themselves out now.
Yeah.
Right, I finished my ribbing. 7 rows of ribbing. It's beautiful.
Oh, Tanya's saying she's knitting a few rounds on her cowl and with the bandage it works okay. Is this a bandage on your arm, Tanya?
She's got a poorly arm. She's
had all sorts of problems with her arm this last couple of weeks. She's quite a bit of pain, haven't you?
Oh, that's really sad.
Well, and it's her knitting arm.
That's just shocking.
It's tragic.
That is awful. Well, I do like to run and walk the dog and everything, but I think if I was to injure something, I'd rather injure my leg than my arms.
Yeah, I would still want to be able to knit.
Oh. I met a lady at knitting group once. She was Japanese, I think. She'd come over for a visit, and she had some kind of arthritis in her hands, and her fingers were all bent out of shape and in weird positions, and she couldn't like start them, straighten them, and it meant that she couldn't knit anymore. Which is my idea of just, I can't even imagine it. It'd be awful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it does sound like hell.
Yeah.
Oops.
Just got to change my needles. Cool.
I need to just keep an eye on mine because I've joined a new ball, but because of where it was in the pattern, I normally what I do is I would double strand,
right,
and I'll knit 8 to 10 stitches using the new yarn and the old yarn.
Yeah, that's what I tend to
do. And then drop the ends, and then there's not so much in terms of weaving in ends afterwards, and very often I can just snip them off at that point.
Them, yeah,
really secured. Yeah. But I'm on that double seed stitch bit, and it will just end up with unnaturally big peril stitches on the right side of the work.
I'm going back to my behind the green door because I don't want to try and concentrate on increasing and decreasing at the minute. So here we go. Can you see that?
Hang on, let me get on the right screen. Oh yeah.
Coming down, coming down, coming down.
Oh, nice. Is that like a deep sort of grey blue?
It's like a grey blue, yeah, more blue than grey. But then I think when the next blue comes in, it might look more grey than it does at the minute.
Yeah, Tanya says it's her elbow.
Oh.
Yeah, too much tennis, Tanya.
I was just going to say, have you been playing tennis? Well, you won't be this year because Wimbledon's cancelled.
Yeah, the whole grass court season is stuffed, isn't it? But it's better that than everybody being ill.
You're right. Yeah, so I'll go back to this for a few rows.
Oh, Rita says that looks great, Emma.
Oh, thank you. I'm enjoying it. It's great fun. I can't wait to see the next colour come in. It'll be fun. I was tempted to make some popcorn tonight, actually.
What, and pretend we were at the movies?
Yeah, well, I haven't had popcorn for ages, and it's actually not that bad for you, is it? Just plain popcorn. So if you put loads of sugar and stuff on.
It's quite good for you. It's the butterscotch sauce I want to make to go with it. It's probably the killer.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
I might make some.
Tanya's saying, yeah, let's just say it was too much tennis. Yeah, we're thinking it probably wasn't tennis, but we're not going to tell Tanya.
Are we thinking it was something Rudy?
No, I was thinking it was knitting.
Oh, okay.
It's just you. It's just you, Emma.
Sorry. Yeah, well, you know what they say, those who talk about it the most get it the least, don't you? You know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Sorry, I was just vaguely remembering in the dim and distant past.
Yeah. God. Oh, well. Ho-hum, eh? Let's just have a wine instead.
Well, you've got a glass of wine, haven't you? So.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you what, I've drank more since we've been in lockdown than I had the rest of the year put together, I tell you.
I've not really had very much at all. I think was I on Southern Comfort last Thursday? I think I was.
Yes, you were.
And dry ginger.
Yes. Yeah, that's an interesting combination.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, but your taste buds were funny last week anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, they were.
You didn't want to ruin the good stuff, did you? It would have been a waste if you'd have done that.
I did taste my curry today, which was nice.
Oh, that's when you know you're starting to get better, when you enjoy your dinner like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I had my first go on the treadmill this morning. I really don't like
the treadmill.
The treadmill.
The treadmill.
And I was really annoyed as well because I got on it and I started off, you know, slow, and every minute or a couple of minutes sped it up a little bit more and a little bit more, and I was getting quite a, you know, a bit of a whack going, and I'd done about 20 minutes, gone maybe a mile and a half, just over a mile and a half maybe, I'm not quite sure, because I reached for my bottle of water and knocked the emergency cord thing out. Couldn't believe it. So it just stopped dead, obviously, because that's what it's designed to do.
Yeah, dead man
everything.
Switch.
Yeah, but then everything on the computer dashboardy bit just gone. So all my progress and what I've done and everything just wiped, gone, and it wouldn't let me resume it. I had to start afresh. I was really frustrated.
Is that kind of a message that, you know?
Well, luckily, my Apple Watch, had decided that I was working out, and just off its own back had started to record what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
Which was quite lucky, because otherwise I'd have had no idea. Oh, I've just had an email come through that my chocolate's going to be delivered on Saturday.
Awesome.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. It's all about the chocolate at the moment.
Well, Yvonne says she was tempted to drink more lately, but has only had 2 drinks since all of this started, and that her family has a history of alcohol addiction, so she's very careful when she feels that urge. Right. Yeah, if there are addictive personalities, it's as well to be aware of it, and it's good that you've got sort of a weary eye on it. Just
mine is
keep
food.
The right side. Mine is absolutely food.
I really have a problem.
size 0 figure.
You've got the most amazing figure.
I have. It's just really well
Gorgeous.
hidden under all this glue.
No, it's
Got it
gorgeous.
all cuddled under there. Well, I like having curves, and I've always had lumps and bumps and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have ordered some new bras from Asda.
Excellent. Have I ever told you what my husband's nickname for me is?
No.
He calls me, and he's even engraved it on my wedding ring, right? B, just like 2 B's, right?
Yeah.
And they stand for bumpy body.
Bumpy body.
And that's his name for me.
Oh, he's a charmer, isn't he? How could you resist that?
I am BB. That is me.
Oh, bless.
It's romantic, I suppose. In a way.
Whatever you make of it, isn't it? If it's a term of endearment, it's, you know, I think it's quite funny, and it's sort of an in-joke and kind of sweet.
Nobody else would know what it means. Well, apart from everyone who I've just told, obviously.
Jake's dad always used to send me the number 3.
Okay.
And it was his little daft thing of, rather than, you know, kind of I love you 2, it was I love you 3 because that's more. That was it. So everything had 3s on it. It always had 3s on it.
I always get my Valentine's card signed 381. 3 little words, 8 little letters, 1 meaning.
Oh.
Yeah, that's quite sweet as well. See, I'm telling everyone all his little secrets here.
I know.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Yvonne says food is worse for me. I'm just careful around alcohol. But that's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's it.
Food is definitely my trigger.
Alcohol's much more easy to be a habit, isn't it?
And also, I think it's more devastating if you do give into it, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, you don't hear of people getting into financial difficulties because of they've got a food addiction. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe it's not talked about, but
well, and yeah, it's a whole can of worms, isn't it?
Yeah, we won't go there. Let's not go there. Oh, well, I just eat my chocolate buttons.
Because, you know, got to be done.
Well, you know, a girl cannot live without chocolate, especially when she's on lockdown.
Absolutely. Have you seen that 4 guys doing the Bohemian Rhapsody lockdown thing? I must send you the link. I saw it earlier today.
Cool. Hey, you're not having my chocolate. It's bad for doggies. Go away.
Is it caught in a lockdown, no escape from this quarantine?
Oh, I love it.
Quite cleverly rhymed.
It's definitely bringing out the best in some people, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed Gary Barlow and Ollie Murs this morning. That really put a smile on my face. And I was singing that very loudly round the house.
It is a real feel-good song, to be honest.
Is kind of a stuck neighbours thing of, well, you know, I'm really enjoying it. You laughed at it.
I've seen a couple recently. My friend Ian shared one last night. You might have seen it. It's a family. I think they've got 3 or 4 kids or something.
Oh, is this the Les Mis one?
Yeah. And
yeah,
they can
really
sing
good.
Really well. I really enjoyed that one. And then you might have seen the other one as well. It's a lady dressed in like a green leotard doing I Will Survive.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Elaine shared that one. It is just class. It's really funny. And I showed Caitlin it, and she's going, "Oh, she's vibing." and Anne said, "What does vibing mean?" I said, "Oh, it's kids speak for loving life."
Yeah, it's not what I was thinking.
It's
Might have
not what I
explained the dancing.
She's vibing.
Yeah,
because
there's some batteries.
You can't get batteries at the moment because Amazon aren't delivering very much, so best not to wear them out, really, isn't it?
Got a mains adapter.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's just one of those new kiddies words like what the other one she uses, salty.
Oh, Jake always says, "Oh yeah, God, that's really random." I'm thinking, no, it's not random. It's extremely predictable, and it's exactly what I'd expect. How does that make it random?
Because they like the word. What's the other one he uses apart from? She uses salty, and she uses triggered.
No,
you know,
yeah,
like if somebody upsets you, I'm triggered now. Yeah.
Oh, Yvonne's asking if we saw Samuel Jackson reading that story, Stay the F at Home.
No, I didn't, but I'd like to.
Aimed at idiots, clearly. So, yeah.
COVID-idiots.
I've seen that one. I thought it was really good.
We're not COVID-idiots. I mean, you haven't been out for about 16 days.
I know. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit like a hermit, and part of me is eager to get out there and maybe volunteer and help out a bit, and then the other part of me is just thinking, oh, why don't we just hunker down till the end of it and just
safe at home?
Because I've been social distancing for years. It's not.
I tell you what, I did say to my friends today, actually, when we were talking on Messenger, if the college doesn't keep me on, I think I might see if there's a local farm. You know, they were asking on the news today, weren't they, about people to go and pick fruit and stuff?
Yeah.
Because the food's all going to go rotten in the fields. So if I don't have my job anymore, I think that's what I'll do. Even if I only do maybe 1 or 2 shifts a week, nothing major, just a few hours, and just go and do that, because it gets you out in the fresh air. Plus, you're actually being useful.
Well, apparently our Asda's is after 1,000 jobs to fill.
That's a lot of jobs, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh, I managed to snag a delivery slot today.
Oh, how many hours did that take?
Well, I went on. Do you know what? Since I waited in that queue, I've left the window open and I haven't logged out or anything. And I can just go in and look at what I want since then. I've never had to sit and wait anymore.
Oh,
and so anyway, I went on, I had a look, and I just clicked book a slot out of interest. And there was one slot for the afternoon of Wednesday, the 22nd of April.
Right.
So I thought, why not? I'll have it. So I've snagged myself a slot. Do you know what? Even if they only bring the big stuff, and then I just go down to the shops for the other stuff, it's keeping me out of the house, you know, keeping me out of the shops, I mean, more, isn't it, at least?
Oh, yeah.
So
well, I thought next week I'll go on to the NHS volunteers list.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to do phoning or prescription deliveries from the hospital or taking people home.
Right.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
My insurance won't cover me for delivery driving.
Right, okay.
But I can pick someone up and give them a lift.
Well, it's only like you're taking a friend, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I assume you can go on and choose what you might like to do.
You know, Tanya says she's got 40 rounds left on her cowl. Is this the lining of that pretty lacy cowl, Tanya? Oh, and have a lovely meal with Martin. Do give him a kiss from us. Have to be an air kiss because obviously contamination and all that.
Just one of those like pretend ones, like mwah, mwah.
Yeah, mwah, mwah.
Yeah,
Pinchy kiss. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, she's lucky having dinner cooked for her. How nice.
Yeah, when can we visit?
Do you reckon I might be able to get Callum to cook chilli tomorrow?
I think there's a fairly safe bet, and he's good at his chicken fajitas, isn't he? Fajitas.
Yes, he is. Fajitas. He likes making the fajitas. Fajitas and chili and omelettes he's good at. Those are his specialities. We couldn't get any more eggs this week from the shopping. There were no eggs.
None at all.
No, they didn't bring
Probably
any
have to
eggs.
ask locally about eggs. I know Sheila Tyson in the village often delivers eggs, so I'll probably have to get Sheila.
Well, when I go for my prescription tomorrow, it's right next to the local spa. And the last time I went in there, they had quite a lot of stuff, to be honest. I think most people forget about the little local shops, don't they? They're all going to the big supermarkets. And the little ones seem slightly more well-stocked than the big ones at the moment.
Mm.
So I might nip in there and have a look. Yeah.
Someone did post a picture of one of those local shops. I think it might have been in Nottingham or somewhere. And the guy was selling a litre of Dettol for £19.99.
What?
Yeah. Trading standards. Trading standards.
Yeah. Because this is what Jonathan Pye calls survival of the richest, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I do like him.
Oh, Yvonne says that P doesn't generally like to cook dinner because he's bored, but not bored enough.
They're never, ever bored enough when you ask them. They have to be hungry to make dinner. That's how I get Callum to do it. I say to him, right, we're having such and such. You can either go and make a start on it now, or you'll have to wait until this time when I can cook it. 9 times out of 10, he'll go and start it. Because he's usually hungry when he comes asking.
Yeah, Jake always comes downstairs and it'll be, are you making dinner? What time will it be? And then he makes a sort of value judgment as to whether he can be asked to wait.
Yeah. Does my stomach think my throat's been cut?
Yeah.
Or does it just think it's been neglected a bit?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it?
Oh, kids.
No, it wouldn't be without them.
No. Not at all.
So have you seen that there was a cardigan along that Barocco are doing at the moment? And there's a free code and each word has the capital letter and it's Barocco Cardi Party.
All right.
A free one of their patterns. Cardigan pattern, obviously.
Yeah. Did you see that I invited Marie Wallen to join our Knitting Across the Pennines group on Ravelry, and she did?
Oh, did you? Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to do practice with April tomorrow.
Practice what?
With April tomorrow, ready for Saturday, because we've got April from Scano.com joining us.
Do you know, I wasn't following your train of thought there at all. Sorry.
Yeah, I said I'd send her a Zoom link and we could do a quick practice. Just, you know.
I'm thinking practice with April, right? So it's April the 3rd. Yeah. Okay. What's that got to do with what's she practicing? It's already April. You can't practice to be April when you're already April.
No, really wasn't. April from Scano.
Looking forward to that.
She's lovely. And I just love the ethics of the company, but I'll let her talk more about that when she's on.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant initiative.
Excellent.
Oh, not even hungry, Yvonne says. If I don't cook and he's hungry, he makes a sandwich for himself. Well, exactly. They survive. They manage perfectly well. Even if they do the thing that they
get more used to it as they're older. I mean, Callum's nearly 19 now, so
absolutely.
And I think there comes a day when they realise that they're going to have to eventually learn to do these things, because when they leave home, who's going to be there doing it for them.
Well, for sure.
I mean, Callum's got a few dinners that he can cook. He'll cook spag bowl.
Oh, Jake,
I reckon he could probably survive a week without having to repeat a dinner.
We do, usually if Jake's going to cook, we do cheat spag bowl, where we make the sauce and then we take the handful of spaghetti and then break it in half.
Right.
And then drop that into the same pan as the sauce, and it cooks in the sauce.
Yeah.
So then you don't have to have a pan of boiling water, and you get spaghetti that's absorbed all the tomato and all the lovely flavours. Do you know, I'd love to take credit for it, but I have to say it's all down to Jamie Oliver.
Ah, good old Jamie. It's Paco,
one of his, 15-minute meals or something like that, where he just broke the pasta in two and threw it in the pan with the sauce. And I'm thinking, this man's a genius. Why have I never thought of that?
Because we're still trying to cook the pasta like the Italians, but the Italians don't make spaghetti bolognese.
Well, no.
That's a British dish, isn't it? It's a bit like chicken tikka masala. You'd never find that in India.
Well, no, you wouldn't. There's a lot of slurping going on with that bowl. I did wonder if it was the wine glass, and then I could see Arthur running after.
He's obsessed with this bowl. Give me the bowl. I taught him a new trick this morning when I was on the treadmill. So he's not allowed to do it when I was running, but when I was walking and it was going slowly, he'd come over with his ball and drop it on the treadmill, and then obviously it'd go and fall off the end, and then he'd have to go and catch it.
Right.
So it's a bit like throwing it for him without having to throw it.
Yeah.
So you quite enjoyed that, didn't you?
Nice.
Yeah. Oh. It was quite nice on our walk this morning, actually.
Was it sunny?
No, it was just before 6:30, so the sun wasn't quite up. Right. It was just coming up, so you know where it's light enough that you can see.
Yeah.
But it was like it was cloudy, but it wasn't cloudy, obviously.
Right.
And then it was lovely and sunny by the time we got home, and then we had more cloud coming as the day went on.
We must have had a tiny smattering of rain either very early this morning or overnight, because the ground was damp but not wet.
Yeah.
And Jake had said it had been raining when he was up at daft o'clock to check the lammies this morning.
I want to see a photo.
There's some video actually of some of the lammies, but I want to see this sort of funny brownie coloured one, as Jake described it, that Tracy's really excited about the colour. So
does she sell the fleeces?
She does. I've got 20 fleeces coming to my house next week.
Woo woo! What are you going to do with them?
I'll need to sit down with her at some point. I'll get her to label them up as to what they are. But she just said sell them and keep the money, because she's too busy with other stuff and she doesn't want them going to waste in the shed. So they're all coming here.
They used to burn them or bury them at one point, didn't they? Because it wasn't worth their time to try and sell them.
Yeah, well, there is a company who buy certain types of fleeces and then they felt them and make felted rugs with them. Which sounds like a desperately clever thing to do. But a lot of hers have beautiful curls on them.
Oh, gorgeous.
So it'd be worth kind of cleaning them up and then just selling them in smaller batches, or selling them, she gets anywhere between £5 and £25 a piece, depending on the quality of the fleece and what people want. And she breeds them with the fleece in mind.
Right.
Which, given that they're for meat, is an unusual approach.
Yeah.
But she's got one eye on whether there's a lovely crimp to it, and she'll cross that with something that will make it more silky, to try and get a longer crimp or a longer staple or something like that. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see the quality of some of the crosses that she's come up with. Yeah, she really knows her animals.
Well, I mean, I know you say
She
that
has a name.
Oh,
Sorry.
I love it. I was just going to say, I know that you say that they're bred for meat primarily, but you know, with the rise in veganism and stuff, it's as good to have a second finger in a second pie, I suppose.
It is, but most of the people who buy from a local, they want,
right.
and she's not organic certified, but they are raised in an organic way.
Mm-hmm.
It's working towards organic certification for the land, but obviously that takes so many years.
It does, yeah.
But they're all fed on herbal pasture.
All right.
And that makes a big difference to the taste of the meat.
Mm.
And it also means that they've got better nutrition.
Right.
Because they've got a more rounded diet.
I guess it's a bit like honeys that the bees, when they use the pollen from local flowers and stuff, the honey tastes different depending on where the bees live.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And she'll put medicinal herbs and things like that in there that she knows will make them healthier, and others for flavour. And yeah, so it does have a unique taste. But I must admit, my favourite is when she's got mutton.
You like the mutton?
Absolutely love mutton.
Does she not find it hard selling them on for meat then if she's named them all?
I think they're very practical and pragmatic about it, in that, you know, that it's just the circle of life.
Mm.
And they're either for breeding, for mutton, or they'll be young. The young males tend to go for spring or autumn lamb.
What are tups?
That's the breeding male.
Because just up the road from here, there's a farm. It's got a big sign outside, tups for sale.
Yeah, it's well, obviously you don't want lots of them because they fight.
Right.
It's a bit like a pride of lions. There's always one in charge.
So you have one tup. You
might have one or two tups, but you'll keep them separate.
And then you'd have lots of, what are they, ewes?
Lots of ewes. Ewes. Hoggets is that a year old or 2 years old? There's hogs, hoggets, yows.
Oh, yowza.
So yeah, yows is just the Cumbrian way of saying a ewe.
Oh, yows. Okay.
Yow.
I thought it was something completely different.
No, there's a yow.
Not a ewe.
I think the hogget is under 12 months, and then is the hog over 2.
I wouldn't know.
Something like that. I'd have to check it. I'm probably wrong. Tracy will put me right, I'm sure. But I think the general rule with it is a hogget's at least had a summer on its back. Whereas a lamb hasn't lived long at all.
So what's it doing spending the summer on its back?
No, the sun on its back, as it's lived a year outdoors or 2 outdoors.
I've got visions of sheep laying on their back with their legs sticking up in the air and they can't turn over. You know, like a tortoise that's got knocked over on its back and it can't get back on its feet.
You're sounding a bit like Miles's wife when she was reading that mountain rescue guide and asked what is a cragfast hound? What kind of breed is that?
Now I know what cragfast means.
Yeah, it just means stuck.
I don't know that one. But I just had visions of these sheep laying there like
No.
You know,
when we say they've had a bit of sun on their back, we mean they've had a summer. And
they haven't spent a summer on their back.
No, they've had sun on their back. Sun shining on them.
It could be, you know, it could be a new way of keeping control of them. You'd know where they were.
Well, yes.
You know, they wouldn't be wandering off into other people's fields if you could get them to lay on their back with their feet in the air and didn't move.
That's true. It sounded like an episode of Shaun the Sheep, though.
Yeah, that's true. And then when the dogs come bothering them, they wouldn't be able to get away.
Yeah. Have you set an alarm for just before 8 o'clock, or do I need to do that?
I haven't set one, no, but I can see the clock on my computer screen. Stop shouting at people walking past. You're such a rude dog, I tell you.
Oh, I've just noticed your picture of the co-idiots.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What a bunch of morons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought Jake might have. Has he sent pictures of lammies? No, he's not sent pictures of lammies.
Oh. What, David?
Jake.
No, David Lammy.
Oh, right, sorry. Yeah. No. CP lammies. Little lammies.
I call them sheeps. I like the baby sheeps.
They're adorbs. They're really sweet. And she has
What?
all these little waterproof jackets for them.
Oh,
Obviously with a bit of warmth as well.
yeah.
Keeps the wind and the rain and the cold off them and helps with an insulating layer. And
Well, that's the problem with the lambing season, isn't it? Because sometimes it goes from one day where it's absolutely gorgeous, and the next day you can have like 4 foot of snow.
well, it's difficult here because we usually end up with horizontal rain and very strong winds.
Yeah.
Just as lambing starts, and I know a couple of years in a row there were a lot of dead lambs. So a number of them have been lambing inside this year.
Right.
And Rosie's family always lamb a bit later, and I think they've moved later again this time, and it's proved a good
And they
decision.
control that then?
Well, it's when you breed them. You only let the tups at the yows when you want them to breed. You don't.
And when would they do that then?
I don't know how many weeks before it is.
I don't know how long sheep are pregnant for.
Haven't got a Scooby. I'd have to ask the question.
Yeah, that would be a good question. How long is a sheep's gestational period? Now, there's a thing that you didn't know that you were going to learn tonight.
Well, we haven't got the answer yet. 152 days, with the average being 147. How many months is that? 5 months.
How many days?
Between 142 and 152, with the average being 147.
So it's about 5 months-ish.
About 5 months.
So if you wanted them, what are they saying? They want them sort of like April. Well, May's probably a bit late, actually, isn't it?
May is a bit late, yeah.
You don't want them in March, though.
You want them the first couple of weeks of April, but you don't want them in March.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go, see?
And you wouldn't want them. There's a few people around here have them in January and February, but they've started lambing indoors because likes of James and Caroline down the road. I asked him year before last how lambing was going because the weather was awful. Yeah. And he was nearly in tears, and he just said, don't ask. And I think they'd had about 5 survive.
Oh, that's really
honestly,
tragic.
it was just really heartbreaking because you've still got to be up 18, 22 hours a day. Yeah. Checking them, helping the ones that are struggling, making sure the lambs are okay, making sure none of them get abandoned, or, you know, all of that's still got to go on, and then to have them all die within days.
Yeah, that is heartbreaking.
Yeah,
because that's what happened when we had all the floods one year as well, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, the weather here can be exceptionally cruel. and it can change on a sixpence.
Yeah.
No, we tend not to get the extremes that others get, with very heavy falls of snow and things like that. But we do get persistent and constant cold and rain, and it's just not good for babbers of any kind.
You definitely have worse weather than me.
Yeah, but then that's why we've got lakes.
That is true.
Because you've got to fill them with something.
Well, yeah.
So,
Wine. You can fill them with wine.
Well, I'm sure the EU do.
They probably do have. Didn't they have like milk lakes and all sorts at one point?
Yeah, wine lakes. Where my brother lives on Ormsgill. Sorry, I'm touching my eye and I shouldn't be.
Naughty lady.
Where my brother lives on Ormsgill, gosh, probably 20 years ago now, they all had deliveries of tinned meat.
All right.
And it
Why
was
was
like
that?
stewing steak and corned beef and things like that. And that was from the EU beef mountain at the time. It was distributed among the poorer communities right the way across Europe.
Wow, it's like that Monty Python sketch, isn't it? What have the Europeans ever done for us?
Well, I believe that they had offered us to take part, because obviously we've part-funded the reserve that's paying for it. There was so many billions of money that the EU had put together to buy ventilators and PPE.
Oh, yeah.
And that they had offered the UK and said, would you like to take part in this? You have helped fund it. Please take advantage of it. And our government had went, no, because Brexit's more important than breathing, apparently. And I applaud people like James Dyson and others who are now in the fight to produce ventilators.
Yeah.
My God, how stupid.
Well, there are those people out there who will cut off their nose to spite their face, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, BBC to air London 2012 and other sports highlights.
Oh, I loved London 2012.
The pub's been closed for holding lock-ins. I mean, how stupid.
What, right now?
Yeah, it says pub holding lock-in closed under new law. Bluebell in Nottinghamshire, unbeknownst to its owners, the licensee was serving drinks. Oh, so yeah, it must be either a managed or a tenanted pub.
I mean, you do feel sorry for some of these people whose businesses are just going out of the window through
Absolutely.
no fault of their own. But it is for a reason. It's not like the government have just shut everybody down and for the sake of it because they feel like it.
Oh, Eddie Large has died of coronavirus.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you not see that?
No, I've not seen any news today.
Mm-hmm.
I did see the thing about the paramedic who was in tears because the lady bought his food shopping for him. Oh, and how kind is that?
That is lovely.
I've seen about the 13-year-old boy yesterday. That was heartbreaking.
That was heartbreaking.
Same about Eddie Large.
Yeah, I know. He was in his 70s.
That danger age, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing is, you don't really think of most people in their 70s as seeming old these days, do you?
No, it isn't. It isn't at all. Goodness me. What a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, they're that era. Do you remember the Wheel Tappers and Shunters Club?
I don't remember the club, but I do remember.
Because it used to be on telly and it was a bit like music hall, and there'd be a comedian on stage and then they'd be singing and dancing and stuff, and then they'd have a turn. And the first time I saw Cannon and Ball, Tommy Cannon was on there singing, and we thought he was a crooner. That's why he was on. And Bobby Ball's in the audience heckling him, and he says, well, come up here and you do it if you think you're better. And the next thing he's on the stage. And the audience hadn't a clue they were a double act.
Right.
And that's the sort of thing that Little and Large would do as well.
Yeah, I used to love Little and Large and Cannon and Ball.
Oh, Yvonne says she's got to go and have a chat with her mum. Give her our love, Yvonne.
See you later. It's the sort of thing we grew up on. I don't remember the club, but I do remember my dad making jokes about wheel tappers.
Yeah, wheel tappers and shunters.
Yeah. And then, like, he caught my mum out once with a joke about the fish tank having condensation on the inside.
Yeah.
Which was quite amusing. He used to get my mum a good one quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, that my mum would fall for that as well. She'd be posting it.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it?
Oh, bless.
A different generation.
I mean, we used to watch some unbelievable stuff then compared to what you get on telly now, and some of the very sophisticated comedy. You would never have dreamed of anything like Blackadder or Upstart Crow in those days, would you?
No.
Just not at all.
I remember all my favourites. I mean, it was like you would just all sit round on a Saturday and watch the TV, and it started, you'd have your kids' programmes in the morning while mum and dad did the shopping or the housework or whatever. And then in the afternoon, you all sat round together and watched the wrestling, Big Daddy, and Giant Haystacks and all that lot, didn't you?
Yeah,
And
well,
then,
of course, my gran and great auntie Sis used to love the wrestling. My gran was a very scrawny woman and hard as nails, my great grandmother, and she'd be, it's him, go on, get in there.
I mean, you just can't imagine it in a way that, you know, the WWE or whatever it's called now, or whatever, what is it, the World Wrestling Federation? I don't know, whatever it is, but it's just nowhere near what the wrestling was on a Saturday afternoon.
Oh, we used to love it. And I mean, Big Daddy, was he not called Shirley Morrison or something?
He was, something like that, yeah. And then you'd have things,
because he was the goodie, wasn't he? And Giant Haystack was a baddie.
The baddie, and everyone always wanted Big Daddy to beat him.
Well, and you knew he was the baddie because Big Daddy had a white outfit on and Giant Haystacks had a black outfit on.
Yeah, and he always lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'd have things in the evening like the Generation Game.
Yeah. Cuddly Toy.
Cuddly Toy, yeah. Yeah. And The Price is Right.
Higher.
Higher, yeah, higher, lower.
Stick.
Oh, that was Play Your Cards Right, not The Price is Right.
Brucey.
I used to love them both, I tell you. Honestly, and then Blankety Blank.
Oh yeah. Oh, Rita's got a cup of Earl Grey.
Oh, Rita, lady after my own heart, I tell you.
Channeling Jean-Luc Picard there, Rita.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, Earl Grey hot.
Ooh.
Well, was it from a replicator or did you make it yourself?
Does he have it black?
He does have his black, yes.
Does he? With lemon?
I never see the lemon, but can't answer your question there. I'd be guessing.
Earl Grey doesn't taste right with milk in it though, so it's fine. What do you want?
Slapping.
Look, where's Loraine? She's there. Can you see her?
Hello, Arthur. Hello.
He says, I want my bowl.
It's an ugly bowl as well.
It is, yeah. I quite like those ones for him because as he's chewing, it cleans his teeth.
Well, particularly if he's sharing a bed with you, you don't want him there with breath that would melt a camel.
He's always got bad breath, that one, I tell you.
All these two have, but thankfully I've been spared it. Although this morning, as I was putting on my socks, I got dog snogged.
Nice.
Yeah, great big lick right across the chops.
Bet you loved that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, just joyous. And Coco was there like she'd scored a goal. She was so
Yeah.
pleased. Oh yeah.
Oh.
So back to the bathroom, scrub the face.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but they think that they're doing something nice for us, though, don't they?
Well, they enjoy it. I mean, she was really chuffed with herself.
Yeah. They've probably got a bet on who can get you, you know, the most times in a day or something.
Yeah, possibly.
I wonder what goes through their minds. I'd love to know.
I don't know. I often wonder, have you seen that guy on Facebook where he's talking about men and women's brains? And I think we've discussed this, where you open the woman's head and it's like this mess of sparking cables and spaghetti, because everything's connected and everything's emotional.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't forget stuff forever.
Right.
It's all linked to everything else.
Yeah.
And then he says the man's brain has just got boxes, and there's a distinct thought in a box, and there's the repairing the car box, and there's watching the wrestling box. But the favourite box of the man is the nothing box. And when the woman says, "What you thinking?" the man is in his nothing box.
Oh, I love it.
And it's his favourite box because there's nothing in it.
And he can just chill out and do nothing and think about nothing.
Because it's not related to anything else, it's just nothing. Whereas we're going like,
yeah,
a zillion things whizzing around. So I just thought it was a really clever illustration of how we think.
It's true though. That's the thing. Things are quite often very funny because they're true.
Mm.
And that'll be one of them.
Yeah.
Is it getting dark where you are?
The sun is starting to go down, and the light isn't sort of straight onto the front of the house now. It's obviously behind the houses opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may have to put a light on.
It's getting a bit darker here. I may have to go and get some more wine tomorrow. Never mind my prescription.
Well, I mean, technically, you could argue that wine is a prescription.
Self-medication?
Yeah. Relaxing.
Need it at the moment, don't I?
Need something. I mean, I've got 2 bottles of Prosecco in the fridge and I just haven't opened them, and I keep thinking, oh, I should. But then there's this thing of it goes flat. And then I kind of feel compelled to drink the bottle on my own.
You need one of those, I've got one of those special things that you put on and it repressurizes so that it doesn't go flat.
I haven't got one of those. I'll have to.
You need one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're fab. And also, the other thing is that I find I just buy the little bottles of wine that's 1 glass because it's just enough. Well, to be fair, it's not really, actually. 1 is not quite enough. But 1 big bottle of wine is just too much. Those little ones need to be slightly bigger. You know, like another 20 mils. I don't know.
I think my inner skinflint would struggle to buy a tiny bottle of wine and pay for all that.
They are expensive. They are expensive.
When I was, for not much more, I could have a whole bottle of Prosecco, and okay, it might be a touch flatter tomorrow night, but I could have it over 2 evenings and be just nicely squiffed.
Do you know, like when you put a spoon in the top, it's supposed to keep the bubbles in? Does that work?
I'll let you know.
You could try that. You know, like a normal dessert spoon.
It's supposed to be a silver spoon, allegedly, but given that I was born with a plastic spoon in my mouth.
I think I was stainless steel.
Right. I've got stainless steel. I might have some silver plated ones, but I'll
what is it, Only Fools and Horses, where he's winding Boise up and he's talking about Sheffield steel.
I don't remember that bit. No.
I think he might have had an extramarital affair in Sheffield.
Oh, okay.
And he's talking on the phone. He wants Boise to do something, but Boise won't do it. So he's talking on the phone with Marlene, and he's talking about Sheffield steel. So she goes, Sheffield? And then the next thing you know, Boise grabs the phone off of her and agrees to do whatever it is that Del Boy wants him to do.
Oh, nice
one. He thinks that he's going to tell him about Sheffield when really he's not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely Del, though, isn't it? I love the one with the Filofax where he falls over.
Oh, yeah. I think Trigger's definitely the best character, though.
Yeah.
My favourite quote ever. And if it's a boy, they're going to call it Rodney after Dave.
I know. It's so and the thing with his broom, because he's made it last 20 years. 7 handles and 3 heads. And
honestly, Trigger is the best. He really is.
Well, he's just an innocent, isn't he? That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's no edge or agenda with him. He's just very sweet.
Yeah. Oh, he's brilliant. Love him. I used to like him in The Vicar of Dibley as well. What was his name? Something like David Lloyd Pack or something like that, wasn't it?
Roger Lloyd.
Roger Lloyd Pack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just checking the weather for tomorrow.
Okay, what's the verdict?
Light
I think it's going to be same as today, isn't it?
Yeah, light cloud in the morning, 20% chance of rain. Sunny, 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 sunny. I don't think there's any rain. A chance of it tomorrow, but then a little bit possibly on Thursday. We've hardly had any rain this last few weeks.
Well, 20% isn't a big chance of rain anyway, is it? And it's gonna. The weather forecast I saw was that it's going to remain settled. It's going to be getting warmer as the weekend goes on. With Sunday, it could get up to 20 degrees in the south.
Okay.
And what do you call it? The wind's going to pick up.
Yeah,
over the
it was
weekend.
quite blustery here last night.
Yeah.
Quite blowy.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to put a light on because I can't see mine.
It's getting dark. Have you got a pug in your house?
A what?
You look like you've got a pug sitting on the back of your sofa behind you.
I have. Would you like to see him?
Yeah. Is this a new addition to the family?
It was a joke present for Dave.
Right.
He doesn't like them.
I'm not fussed with pugs, to be honest.
So this is Pugsley.
Pugsley.
And he's really soft and velvety and snuggly and just...
So he's a nice little, what do you call him? Nice little cuddly,
he's just
cuddly.
nice. If I feel like kind of having a lay down at the other end of the sofa with my legs stretched out under a blanket while I watch the telly, and I'll just cuddle Pugsley.
Oh.
While I've got a Labrador's head on my lap. And
I was going to say, have you not got enough dogs?
They don't go on the sofa. They're not allowed.
Aren't they allowed on the sofa?
No, and there's a very good reason for that. That's because knitting and other things would be on the sofa, and Mocha is a chewer.
Right.
And anything plastically, like my remote controls and things like that, would all be just gone.
Arthur's allowed on one sofa out of 3.
Yeah, so I think it's really cute, my little Pugsley.
It is quite cute, apart from the fact that I don't actually really like pugs, I'm afraid.
I don't like the fact that they're overbred and unhealthy because of poor breeding choices to make them look cute.
And then
that's my only objection. as a dog, they're a beautiful, lovely breed, but the chances are you'll have to spend thousands on it just so it can breathe, and that's irresponsible.
It's not fair. And then they cost a fortune to buy anyway.
They're ridiculous money.
Same with the Frenchies. I'm not fussed with the
French bulldogs.
Frenchies.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't
to be
understand
honest, it's going to be controversial as well, but to be honest, I'm not really a huge fan of the little dogs.
No. I like a proper dog. That's why we've got
dog.
Labradors.
That's
I
why
like
I
a
have
dog
a German
that is
Shepherd.
substantial. Having said that, we had a corgi when I was growing up, which is kind of a medium-sized dog with short legs.
I think corgis are different though, aren't they? Because corgis...
They're a cattle dog. They're a work.
Yeah. And the Queen keeps corgis, you know, and I do like the Queen.
They're really lovely. There's quite a funny clip at the moment, which is entitled like "Husbands and Wives in the Lockdown," and it's two corgis just at one another.
Love it.
Yeah, but our corgi saved my mother from being gang raped.
Oh, well, there you go. See?
She was attacked by a group of young men.
Right.
And one of them had got her on the floor and was trying to take his trousers off, and the dog bit him on the knackers.
Good dog.
And would not let go until
I personally do not understand anyone who goes for a woman with a dog. Are they like stupid? They're asking for trouble, really, aren't they?
Apparently they were winding her up and laughing at this little dog,
thinking that it wouldn't do anything.
They picked the wrong one. He absolutely savaged them.
I would definitely not like laugh at a small dog, because this is why I'm not a fan, because they are really yappy, bitey, you know, they go for it. They've got small dog syndrome.
Well, the thing is with a corgi as well, because it's shorter, it's bred to run fast.
Yeah.
And it's bred to bite the ankles of cattle. It's frightened of nothing.
And it's got a big mouth. It's not got a little tiny titchy
It's got
mouth.
a sizable, very strong jaw, and they are absolutely fearless. I wouldn't want to take one on. And
I wouldn't.
I've grown up with them.
Not at all. Not at all.
They are a dog, absolutely full of heart and all the rest of it. We had him for 19 years.
That is a good innings.
It was, yeah. Yeah, it was very sweet.
That's the only thing with little dogs. They do tend to live longer than the bigger ones, don't they? Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of his height, he was not tall. Mine are probably double the height. But in terms of body length, his body length and size was similar to the average Labrador. He just had shorter legs and a docked tail, because they dock the tails so that the cattle don't damage them.
Yeah. So was he the doggy version of
He looked like
Leonard?
Brush. He looks like Basil Brush.
I was thinking Leonard out of Big Bang Theory, because the episode that I watched the other day, Penny said to him, "You can tell everyone you're 5'8" all you like, but nobody's buying it."
Very possible.
So was he a bit like that? You know, he thought he was 5'8" when he was really 5'2". Bless him.
Yeah, absolutely. He really thought he was, you know, the man of the house. And he argued with my mother, and she would tell him off, and he'd wait 5 minutes, and she'd smile and think she won, and then the dog would go, and you'd hear her saying, "Now I'm telling you no," and he'd wait, and she'd smile, and then he'd go, and every time he got the last word, the little sod.
Sounds like quite a few marriages, actually, that.
Very possibly. He was adorable. But we used to get given an apple a day in the 70s as young children. And as soon as we got it, for some reason, my brother, that would be the thing if he had to go to the toilet.
Right.
And he would put his apple on the table.
Okay.
And then my mother would be, oh, well, you better go to the toilet as well. Let's get all of this over at once. So I'd nip to the loo and I'd come down and I'd get my apple. And as soon as Colin was coming down the stairs, the dog would steal his apple and eat it in front of him.
Oh.
He never took mine. Always took Colin's.
Oh, poor Colin. Did he get upset?
Not at all.
Oh,
They'd wrestle on the floor for it, and then he'd get it back and eat the other half.
Ugh.
Oh, yes, they are minging.
Aren't they just?
Colin always had a tide mark on his neck, a mucky tide mark.
I always wanted
been
to
made
call
to
a dog
wash
Colin.
it.
Colin is one of the names that I've always wanted for a dog.
Colin.
Parley is one. Colin, Trevor, Clyde. These are all my dog names. Bryn and Nessa. I think that'd be fab, wouldn't it? You were across the field shouting out Bryn and Nessa.
Probably would be a fun one.
Parley would be the best as a dog's name, I'm afraid.
Well, yeah, because there's kind of a core of people that will know exactly who that is, and then there's other people who are like, what?
What the hell have you called your dog? Yeah. Be hilarious. He's just staring at me. He's very disgusted.
I'm hoping that on Disney Plus I can watch Aquaman.
You should do.
Not that I'm watching it for Jason Momoa.
I mean, it is an absolutely awful movie.
Yeah, I'm not bothered.
Phil and I just sat
watching
there like,
it for the
what are we watching?
Was it really that bad?
It's really that bad. We were do you know when it's that bad that you start laughing at it when it's not actually funny and taking the mickey? It was one of the worst movies I've seen in a long time.
Wow,
however, if I was just watching it on my own instead of with Phil, I think I could have just sat there like,
yeah, with a dish for the drool.
That's the one. Yeah. Just don't want the storyline is, thin at best.
Not really a plot.
Yeah, the acting's not great. But if you're just using it as an excuse to perv on a half-naked guy, then it's fine.
Tattoo Jason Momoa.
Yeah, it's
that was my plan.
It is what it is.
Yeah, because I am on my own.
You won't be disappointed then if that's your plan. Don't expect a lot from the actual movie. Just enjoy the show.
Okay. I mean, he's lovely in Justice League where he's Aquaman in that.
Yeah. Yeah, but
and that made me think, I could watch more of that. And if there's no plot, that's great. I can just focus on what's on the screen.
You can just stare. It's fine.
Well, there's no one to actually check on me, is there? I'm not going to get told off for leching.
And if you just happen to pause it at a certain place and pretend that you paused it because you needed to go and get a refill of your coffee, and then pretend that you couldn't find the remote to unpause it for about 5 minutes, then nobody's going to know, are they?
It's all good. Sounds good
it's
to
all
me.
Good. It's fine.
But on another note, I'm quite looking forward to seeing Captain Marvel because I do like a strong female lead, and that it's always.
Have you not seen that one yet?
No.
Oh, well, I won't say anything.
Well, go on. What was the verdict out of 10?
Well, I enjoyed it. I mean, I couldn't tell you now any specifics. I like
the idea of a superhero called Carol.
Well, Carol is a great name.
Well, yeah, it's just a kind of girl next door sort of name, and that's why I like that it's, it's not Serafina or something.
Carol is the middle name that my niece is going to choose for her baby.
Oh.
After her nana. Her nan was called Carol, and she's going to name...
I was at Slimming World a while ago, and somebody's daughter had just had their first granddaughter.
Right.
And she said, oh, they've picked this name for her, but I don't like it. And I said, what have they chosen? Oh, they've called her Morgan. And I said, oh, lovely. And she said, yes. after somebody's daughter in a film, and I said, it's Morgan Stark and it's Iron Man's daughter. And she just looked at me as if I was some sort of complete moron. But the younger people in the room or in the room all sort of looked round and went, Morgan Stark. Yeah, because we all knew.
Yeah.
Morgan's
quite a nice name.
I like Morgan. A little bit different, and it's good for a girl or a boy. I know a couple of male Morgans.
There was a joke going round, and I can't remember what it was. But I think it was something to do with some kind of, it was a mashup of the House Stark in Game of Thrones and Tony Stark, and something about somebody having a baby. And I think Tony Stark was the like the result of, I don't know, Sean Bean and somebody having a baby, and the baby was called Tony Stark or something. I can't remember. I'll have to have a look and see if I can find it, because you would definitely
it must be a Game of Thrones thing, mustn't it? Ned Stark, yeah.
Yeah, Ned Stark had a baby with somebody, and it was called Tony Stark or something, and turned out to be Iron Man. I can't remember. It was definitely funny.
Rita says she's managed to click on the timeline at the beginning of the live and then only just realised it. And then she says if we've asked her any questions, she wasn't being rude. She was just lacking in tech skills. That's fine, Rita. We were just waffling away. They feel
as we do.
Free to catch up or watch again.
Yeah.
It's in the videos tab on the left of the screen.
The left.
My left.
Left.
Yeah.
Is this a bit like the dog walk again?
It could be, yeah. The left. Yeah, I'm not sure if it flips the mirror image on Zoom or.
It's fine, because Rita can catch up, because in a minute we're going to have to disappear for a second, aren't we? I'm gonna have to go to the ladies again.
Yeah, but this time we're not wetting ourselves laughing over the post-it note.
Gone to clap the carers. I think do you know what?
If you write it on if you write it on the reverse of the post-it note, you can stick it to the screen in front of the camera.
Hang on. But I need a nice thick pen this time.
Yeah.
Because last time I just used a normal biro. So okay. I don't need to write gone clap carer.
No.
No? Did you hear someone, I think it was at the supermarket, you know, they've got those slots for NHS and everything, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
There was a story about a nurse went to go and get her shopping, and she got attacked, and someone was trying to steal her ID badge so that they could sneak in on the NHS hour.
I know.
It's shocking, isn't it, that somebody would actually do that?
Reported muggings and things like that for their ID. I mean, how scummy is that?
Grow up. I mean, it's easy enough. What you do is you go next door, you kidnap the old dear that lives there, and you force her to go to Tesco's with you, and then you'll get in the priority time anyway. Yeah.
Or you could just take my mum with her white stick.
Oh, there's that. Well, actually, I was thinking about this. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I was thinking, well, my son's registered disabled. Why don't I just take the paperwork that he's got PIP and I've got his carer's allowance? Do you reckon they'd let me in early for that?
Might do.
Well, the Morrisons have got an hour for the NHS staff, 7 till 8, I think it is, and then general opening from 8. But Tesco's opens at 6:30 in the morning for general, and then I don't know how they work it, but they've got a priority hour, and it's alternate days. So one day it will be for the elderly, and I assume like disabled and vulnerable, and then the next day it's for NHS.
Right.
And that's 9 till 10. So I assume that they just sort of like maybe stop people going in a little while beforehand, let it clear out a little bit, and have a separate queue for the NHS or something. I'm not quite sure.
I don't know. I mean, it's good that some people are being really nice, and that fella whose shopping was bought for him was really emotional.
That is nice.
It's a lovely thing to do.
I
But
don't think
such a
this is gonna
simple
work.
and small thing in the grand scheme. Do you want
Yeah.
a quick update on my cardigan? Can you
Definitely.
see the front of the cardigan?
Oh, that's gorgeous. It's
I'm
coming along nice
loving
and
that
fast.
double seed stitch. Yeah. And I've made the sleeves much wider for my muscular arms.
They're gorgeous arms.
They are,
Right.
just, Annie would be proud of my muscles.
Your muscles. So I think my note is a bit better this time. However, I'm worried about where I'm going to put it.
Oh, it's just too many suggestions flowing through my brain. Just
I can't stick it to the camera because that's what happens.
Yeah, can't do that.
And now I can't stick it to my phone. See, I could have stuck it. I've done it the other way around. What I could have done.
See, it was dark last week when we did this. It was dark.
It was dark. I could stick it to my phone, but I'd have to change it round the other way.
You had to move the camera around last time, and
hang on. If I did that,
but you're all right. It's not even 1:45 yet, so we've.
Yeah, but I like to be prepared.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully, I won't wet myself laughing because last time we both had to go for an emergency wee.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Oh.
It's because I've done it that way around.
Okay.
You told me I had to do it the other way round.
If you were going to stick it to your computer screen.
Yeah, but it wouldn't work because if I stick it to my computer screen.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because then the camera can't see it.
Hang on, let me try it this way.
See, we keep saying that if we ruled the world, everything would be so much better. But can you imagine the chaos of Emma and I in charge?
Well, just me, let's be honest.
Oh, no. Definitely a partner in crime here.
Our #enabler.
Well, it's not. You said you can't have anything other than vegan chocolate, and you'd really find someone, and I just used a bit of Google foo.
How's that?
Gone to clap for our carers #NHS.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Should I just
Perfecto. Yeah.
There we go. How's that? Right, now the only thing is, let's take bets on whether it's still there when we get back.
Well, yeah, and we've still got quite a few minutes before we need to go
and
out.
I'm going to stick that one there, just in case. Can you see that one?
Yeah.
There we go. Oh,
they're not very sticky, are they?
They're not very sticky. Well, these are ones that I brought home from college, so I blame cheap stationery suppliers. They're not ones that I paid for myself.
Oh, well.
But I do have.
We can't really complain about the quality.
We can't. They were free for me anyway. I do have all my pens in my.
I like big balls. Well, as is evidenced by your 300 grams of, half a mile of yarn.
It's amazing. I mean, who could ask for more?
That's spot on, isn't it?
Isn't it
I'm quite excited. Tomorrow I think I'm going to have to put my cardigan on a thread and try it on.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. Exciting.
Loving this double seed stitch. And the cute little faux cable and then the lacy bit.
Not 4 candles.
No, not 4 candles. Your post-it's looking drunk, your bottom one.
Well, it's been at the wine. Have you noticed that I haven't bothered moving it?
Explain an awful lot.
I'm just going to leave it there because,
Yeah, it'd be fine.
It's too difficult to bother turning my computer back around right now. I mean, you know, life's hard, isn't it?
Well, first world problems.
Well, exactly. Oh, who's that? Who's that? Is that Arthur? Oh, you think you're getting some food? Look, who's that?
What's our population in the UK?
About 60 million.
Yeah, 10,000 tests a day. They're saying they're carrying out, and they're aiming to do 100,000 a day. That's still an awful lot to get through the population and get meaningful data, isn't it?
Isn't it just? Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it or not do it. My mother-in-law said that her daughter said to her that this was only going to go on for another week or two. And I was like, no, not at all. It's going to be a lot longer. Well, she works in the hospital, so she would know. No. Honestly, she's a social worker, and she works to get elderly people home when they've been in hospital, and she puts things in place so that they can go back home. That's what she does. So now my mother-in-law's convinced that she knows exactly what the curve of COVID-19 is going to be, and that we're going to be fine after a couple of weeks, apparently.
If only.
I don't know. Maybe she's just trying to keep her spirits up, and she's, you know, giving her a little white lie. But I don't think it's helpful, personally.
Well, no, I don't think it is. I mean, I love that people are making all these masks, and maybe they'll help a little bit. But the reality is that a sewn mask, unless it's got some sort of filter in it that's small enough to stop a tiny virus, a minuscule thing like a virus, then it may help with stopping the spread in the very early stages where you perhaps haven't got the cough yet, or somebody who's just got a regular cold. But if you're going to make masks, send them to a hospital, give them to nurses, give them to carers, give them to shop staff. And
I think personally, I think the only value in the general public wearing a mask is to make them more aware and maybe remind them to keep their distance from other people.
Yeah,
because it's like a physical reminder, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you do kind of forget.
Yeah, are you not tempted to get one like Anthony Hopkins in Hannibal Lecter one?
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, get one of those.
Clarice.
Do the lambs still scream?
No, I'm not tempted to get one of those. Maybe put one on somebody else.
Cook your neighbour with some fava beans and a nice Chianti, was it?
I quite like a Chianti.
Yeah, I don't mind a Chianti. I'm not so keen on eating the neighbours, but
no. It was the one where he took that guy's scalp off, and he was actually cooking his brain and giving it to him as well, and he's like sat there eating his own brain. That was just a bit too disturbing for me, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm not really keen on anything that horrible, must admit.
No, not at all. What is the matter with you? Flipping animal, do you know? Well, I make it 17:54.
Right.
So I reckon maybe another minute or so, and then I'm going to have to go to the little girl's room before I go and give the care.
I need to put some socks on because I'm wandering around barefoot.
I need to put my slippers back on. I took them off, and then we'll go and give the carers a clap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the clap, just a clap.
Not the clap, just a clap. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back. It's nearly my bedtime, you know. Been up since.
Oh, this is quite late for you, isn't it?
Oh, it's very late for me. I mean, we had our party last night for Troy Hall. 6 years old, bless him. And it started at 7,
This is the sausage
apparently.
dog. For anyone that doesn't know, try using.
Yeah, sausage dog. So we had to have an online party for him, and it started late because he was having a birthday bar. I mean, for goodness sake. So then, when everybody got online and that, they were like, "Are you in bed?" I was like, "Hello, yeah. Have you met me?"
They haven't got a Scooby, have they? I mean,
come on.
We had a Labrador years ago when we had the pub.
Yeah.
Baron, a black Labrador, and he got into the slops bucket, which was when you take so much off the beer from the manual pump.
Yeah.
You have to clear so many pints through to clean the pipes before you start serving your beer, and that all used to go into a bucket and then it'd go down the drain. And my dad had forgot to empty it and they'd gone to bed, and the dog had got in there at 6 a.m. when we were up.
Yeah.
And I came downstairs, and where's the dog? And he's in the bar on the floor, and 2 buckets of slops are completely emptied, and he's there with his paws over his face like this.
Oh.
And he spent most of the day like that, bless him. Must have had a really awful hangover.
Did he have too much drinky poos?
Well, totally self-inflicted. It was quite funny. I'm just laughing at your head pooping around, having a look.
I look a bit like Amy, actually, in that.
What, in the Big Bang Theory?
Yeah. Do you know, I'm embracing the greys. I'm waiting to see how bad they get, actually, because I was supposed to have had my hair done today.
Can you see mine shining?
Yours just look like highlights. They don't actually look grey.
Well, they are grey, I can tell you. They're a very different texture to the others.
That's the only problem, isn't it?
And I had to do an eyebrow tidy up. And
I need to do mine.
A little bit there where I've got several thick white eyebrow hairs.
See, it's not so bad there. I get
but if I let them grow, I've got some there on this lumpy thing.
Just there. And it always pops up just as I've got to work, and I've got 4 hours before I can get rid of it. And I sit there misering it because you can't help it, can you? Sitting there playing with it. It's like, I know it's there.
Yeah, I have tweezers that periodically do this thing because it'll have 3 or 4 sort of whoppers on it and I feel like I do it every week, but I obviously don't, because every now and then I'll look in the mirror and there's this sort of 1.5 inches.
It's like, no, I think it grows overnight. It's not there when you go to bed, and then you wake up in the morning and it's like, pudding.
Right, 2 minutes to. I think it's time for a little girl's comfort break. And we'll see you shortly. And I'm going to leave the microphone on, so hopefully you'll hear us out the front.
I might open the window.
Should I take a pan and a wooden spoon and bang, bang, bang?
Bang, bang, bang. Okay. Toodles.
Right. See you soon. Won't be long. Well, I'm back. It wasn't a hugely long clap in Great Earswick tonight, but I think most of the street were out, and people that I've not actually seen to talk to in weeks, because I've barely left the house over the last fortnight, whilst Jake and I have been isolating. So yeah, feeling a bit emotional again. But it was nice to throw on my comfy warm cowl and my big coat and step out, and I had to go and put my socks on because I had icy cold feet. But yeah, it was lovely, and there were lots of people out with pots and pans, wooden spoons and things like that, and some of the kids had musical instruments. But yeah, really lovely. I'm petting Coco because she's next. I don't know whether she wants to photo bomb. Can you see Coco? I move the camera over. Here she is. My little princess. Not so little. 45 kilos of hairy dog. But she's very excited by all the knives that are outside. And the fact that I've been out the front door and they isn't going down very well at all. No, that's lovely, thank you. Look at this grey on her muzzle. Come on, down you go. Good puppy. That's lovely, thank you. So I'm guessing Emerald joined us at some point, and she's obviously had to go downstairs and out the front. Whereas I can step to my front door in, I don't know how many steps is it, probably 20 steps, because I've only got a little house. And I do all of this downstairs, so it's much easier for me. But that was really nice. Yeah, it's strange how emotional I feel about all of this, when generally I'm a bit of a robot. I do get passionate about stuff, but generally speaking, I'm fairly detached and able to sort of step back from most of it, and almost look at it with not a jaded eye, but certainly almost from a distance. So yeah, I'm finding it a bit strange at the moment that I'm much more emotional. I was really glad today to see the Gary Barlow and Ollie Mayers clip that I'd shared in the group earlier on, because them singing Shine and it being such a joyous song just really lifted my mood today. So one of the things I did was set up just the free version of Spotify on the TV so that I could listen to music. And then I had, being an 80s teenager, I had a ton of synth pop, and then I went through Rick Astley's back catalogue, who I love, and then watched a load of Take That, and then some Robbie Williams from his earlier albums. Not so keen on the recent stuff. A little bit of Oasis, and a few bits like that, and I was feeling really good after it. I don't know, we have very skewed priorities in this world, and yet all of us to some extent have relied on artists, whether that's people who craft or paint or write music or sing or make musical instruments. We've all relied on the arts to get us through this. And I'm hoping that that means we have a greater appreciation of it in the longer term. Gosh, that's all a bit serious, isn't it? Maybe I should start knitting again. But there we are. I have my moments. I seem to be all tangled up. So this is what you get when you put your knitting down and start washing. I am, yes. I was just having a wee waffle.
Just making a cuppa.
All right. Well, there was a few people out today, but certainly not every house like it was last week. But lots of people with pots and pans who obviously wanted to make a bigger noise. It's getting competitive.
Oh,
loving the PJs. Is that the ones
like
with the hairs and whatnot?
It's the hares and squirrels. You got a flash of my squirrel last time I was wearing these.
Yeah, joke overload there.
Yeah.
Perhaps I
I like to set you up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely set you up for these jokes. I should save this for next week.
You load the gun and I'll fire the bullets. That's the one.
It's fine. Like the blue touch paper, as they say.
Yeah.
Oh, so I don't know what it was.
Sorry?
I was just going to say, I don't know what it was like where you were, but we have more people out clapping, but for less time.
They stayed out for about 2 minutes here, but there were less people tonight than there were last week. But those that were there had pots and pans, and some of the kids
making
had musical instruments, and somebody had something a bit like a didgeridoo.
Oh.
And I was just waxing lyrical for a moment. I went off a bit like Rick Stein, and I was just saying how comforting it is that we have the arts, and that all of us really are relying either on crafts or drawing or painting or music or people that sing or compose, and that they're the kind of the icing on the cake that's keeping us going and sane while we're going through this. And I hope we don't forget that, because there's lots of things about modern life that I'm kind of thinking I don't want to go back to when we go back to normal. I'm thinking I want a simpler normal.
I was thinking about this morning on my walk, and I was thinking that for all the fact that we're separated from each other at the moment, I do think we're more connected, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, people are making more of an effort to keep in contact with who's important, aren't they?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that might end up being a regular thing on a Thursday. I saw my neighbour that I haven't seen in ages. She lives across the road, and her daughter's the year younger than Caitlin.
Right.
And I always put a bin out for it when she goes off in her caravan and stuff like that. But I haven't seen her in absolutely ages, and she was just asking how things were and stuff, and I had to be a bit like, "Oh, I've got to go." She's across the road shouting at me, and I'm shouting back, "You all right? Yeah."
Very subtle.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think in many respects, I hope that this and some of the nastiness about the media that was existing before this happened, that undertone from society hopefully is gone.
Like the whole Caroline Flack type thing.
Yeah, and we've discussed in previous lives about how I have mixed feelings about that one, because it is about women and who are victims. Very often it is men. But the whole to remember that.
But the whole
way, the outpouring.
She was being vilified in one breath, But as soon as she killed herself, then everybody's like, oh my God, oh, she was lovely. And it's so tragic. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. You kind of drove her to it as well, though.
Well, yeah, and it was the same people doing both. And it's all these crocodile tears. And I sincerely hope that's gone.
Yeah.
That element of society. I hope that's changed.
Let's hope so.
Well, I'm back knitting on my cardigan. I'm just working my way around now.
Excellent. I'm on my behind the green door. I set up my project page today. I loaded up a photo. I think I put my rose textured cowl on Instagram today.
I think I saw it earlier.
Yeah, I think it was that one I put on Instagram, so I'll put this one on. I mean, I seem to have so much more time on a Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I don't understand. Could there be a reason for that, do you think?
Well, you know, just enjoy the Easter holidays while they last, and then you'll have time during the week.
I think if they do offer me to stay on, it might be reduced hours. It's not as if they have to make it worth my while for going in, is it? It's not as if I'm spending petrol and journeying.
No.
You know, even if it's only an hour a day, it's not really going to cause any problems for anyone, is it?
No.
Am I doing anything else? Am I out and about? No. Although I did think the other day, I did fancy a trip to the theatre for the matinee. I thought I might go and, you know, catch a musical or something.
Well, we could maybe sing along to Hamilton or something and make you feel that you were at the musicals.
Love Hamilton. Which song do you want to sing?
I don't know, because I have to admit now that I've never actually watched it.
Well, you can't watch it. There's none of it about. You could maybe watch there's a video of the Tony Awards where they did a song, and there's one of I think it might have been the Royal Variety performance where they did a different song. And then apart from that,
somebody was streaming the original Broadway cast or something.
It's probably been taken down.
It was an official stream. It wasn't an unofficial thing. It was a proper
somebody
TV
was doing you can watch the documentary. I'll try and find the link for the documentary. It's really good, actually.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have a Scooby about the songs or the plot or anything else.
Well, that's why you need to watch the documentary, I think, because it is for people that are like, no idea what Hamilton is. Why is it so popular? Why is everyone going on about it?
I remember someone from Tim Farron's office ringing me last summer and, oh, do you need me to do such and such? Because I'm away this week. I'm going down to London to see Hamilton. And I said, Hamilton? Is that someone at Tim's office? And he just sort of, it's like the hot new musical. And I said, okay, what's that about? And he went, well, obviously Hamilton.
Alexander
As
Hamilton.
if I was just some sort of idiot. And I said, I'm sorry, I haven't got a Scooby. What are you talking about? And they were astounded that I didn't know. But, you know, how often I haven't been to London in years. I don't really go and see shows because it's a hell of a long way to get to go and see anything really good. And it's all right, the best part of 3 or 4 days off work with the travelling, the hotel and everything else. It's just not realistic. Now, when English touring opera used to come to the town, I'd be there. Every performance, you know.
Well,
whatever they were putting on, I'd go watch it.
The original Broadway cast, it was filmed, and only about 2 months ago, maybe, he actually sold it to Disney for millions. And
I might be able to watch it on Disney then.
It's coming to the cinema in October next year, October 2021.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and there'll be trailers and stuff before then, but definitely. I mean, do you like musicals? Do you enjoy a musical?
Yes and no. Things like Blood Brothers I liked, and Cats is okay, some of the songs.
It's quite rappy. It's
I'm
not
not
like,
sure if that would be my thing at all, but I'm prepared to give it a go. I mean, musicals to me are the things that I kind of grew up watching. So for me, when you say musical, I think My Fair Lady,
Oklahoma,
Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, Oklahoma, you know, with Howard Keel.
Yeah,
That sort of thing. And I love anything like that. And I probably know all the songs.
Right.
In the same way that I've seen most westerns, because that was my mum's thing, westerns and musicals.
Yeah.
My parents are both quite good singers.
Right.
So we grew up in a house where everybody sang, and we sang in the car and we sang in the morning. You know, we were surrounded by music of all types.
I've never found a musical that I didn't like yet. I would watch any musicals whatsoever, all of them, and anyone. Love them, absolutely love them. But I would definitely say Hamilton is like a class above for me.
Okay, well, I'll give it a watch. I mean, I like opera, lots of different
I love
operas,
opera.
but I am not really a fan of Wagner.
All right, okay. I like
some of it's all a bit heavy for me, and I like Donizetti and Mozart's operas, and you know, Marriage of Figaro and things like that, because they're funny and they're witty, and I love to go. And there's sort of not Pocket Shakespeare or something like that, or the Abridged Shakespeare Company, where they do a short version of a Shakespeare play. And I love anything like that because it's just a clever twist on it. And I probably am a little bit old-fashioned with a lot of stuff like that.
What about Phantom of the Opera?
I did like that. And
Les Mis?
I like some of the songs, but to actually sit through the musical, for me, my opinion, not enforcing it on anybody else, I think a lot of the songs are torturous. I mean, the first time, I'm not a fan of reality telly and these competitions and X Factor and stuff like that, but the clips that they showed of Susan Boyle, fat, frumpy looking middle-aged woman going onto stage, and people laughing at her and ridiculing her, just disgusted me. And then she sang. And there wasn't a person in that room that didn't have to bite their tongue off and stuff it down their throats because of how horrible they'd been. They'd made a decision on her because she was just this untidy scruff.
Yeah, it's out of order.
She had an incredible voice, and
did.
It's one of those lessons where actually you shouldn't be judging a book by its cover, and you know, give everyone a chance because she's just got amazing vocal.
I think we should have you watch one of the Hamilton things, and we should watch your reaction to it.
What, like Gogglebox?
Yeah, do you want to do it?
Yeah, we should do that.
When do you want to do it? Now or another time?
Do it another time because it's past your bedtime already.
It is past my bedtime. We'll do it Sunday. Should we do it Sunday? Because we've got April tomorrow.
April on Saturday. We could do it on Sunday. Yeah.
We'll do it on Sunday. I'll get what do you call it? I think the actual opening one. Yeah, definitely. Although you have to be prepared,
Groff, don't you?
I love Jonathan Groff. He's the king in it, and it's hilarious. Oh, I've got a colour change. You can't really see it in this light, so you. I
do like him in that Mindhunter. I think he's excellent.
He is really good.
But you can't. Bit of a robot in it, though, isn't he?
There's no official videos of him as the king online. But yeah, the opening line you have to be prepared, because I didn't know And obviously I avoided everything. I took Caitlin to see it last June for her 16th birthday, and she tried to get me to listen to some songs, and I said, no, I don't want to listen to any, we'll just go and we'll enjoy it. And so we're sitting there, and it opens, and the opening line, and he sings, how does a bastard orphan son of a whore? And I was like, what are we watching? But yeah, it was fine. Yeah, it is good. Oh, I actually can't wait to see your reaction, to be honest.
Well, that'll be interesting.
We could have a whole new segment, Loraine Reacts.
Oh yeah, just don't make me watch Les Mis, because honestly I'll be puking in a bucket.
Like you said, you liked some of the songs.
I Dreamed a Dream, and you know, Bringing Home
More.
I think is a nice one. One Day More is nice. But yeah, it's the contrived stuff.
Right.
I'm walking down the street, clicking my boots. Oh, for God's sake, get on with it. Just do a bit of dialogue. You don't need to sing it, darling.
I took Phil to see it, actually, in Newcastle in, I think it was the end of August, beginning of September. Caitlin was desperate. Well, Caitlin was desperate to go and watch it with me, but I was going with Anne and Ian and that, and it was more like a couples thing. Otherwise, I would have taken that. And anyway, I don't think he was too impressed. He had an extra couple of beers than he would normally have. I think it was his way of getting through it. And do you know the bit where she's in the hospital?
Yeah.
And she's passed away. And Jean Valjean is fighting with the policeman, yeah?
Mm.
And he's trying to arrest him, and he's trying to get away, and there's all this ruckus going on. Phil's sitting there in the middle of the theatre, and he turned round, and quite loudly, I don't think he realised how loudly, he went, how's she sleeping through all that then? And everybody around us just giggled. It's like, she's dead.
I took Jake's dad to Zeffirelli's in Ambleside, which is sort of a famous cinema and really one of the first vegetarian restaurants in the area. And it is quite nice food, but you can get a meal deal where you have your dinner and then you go in and you sit at the back of the cinema, and there's a raised platform with big squashy armchairs.
Ooh,
and
nice.
You can book an armchair.
Right.
And we were going with friends, and they'd picked the movie, and it was Patriot Games with Harrison Ford and Sean Bean. So double lech points
whammy,
for that one. Yeah, just awesome. Absolutely fabulous. And I'm really enjoying this movie, and all I can hear next to me is Kevin flat out in this chair going and then he snored so loudly and woke himself up and went, bloody hell, was that a bomb? And sort of 2 minutes later in the plot, there's an explosion. And everyone was in hysterics, and people are going, shh, shh, shh. And he does huge loud snores and completely out of it. But he'd had a nice meal and then sat in a comfy armchair. So I don't know what.
And it went straight to his eyes.
Oh yeah, he was reading the inside of his eyelids. There was
well, like you do, yeah. Oh, that's what happened to our friend Crystal a couple of weeks back when we went to the cinema to watch the new version of Little Women with Saoirse Ronan.
Did you enjoy it?
I thought it was okay. I didn't enjoy it anywhere near as much as I liked the Susan Sarandon version. And I really wanted to like it because I like Saoirse Ronan. I think she's a brilliant actress, but it definitely wasn't as good. And Crystal just slept most of the way through it, to be honest, bless her. So she was definitely impressed.
Well, that's interesting. I'm just reading on the BBC that Matt Hancock says that Premier League football players have to take a pay cut to pay the staff who are being furloughed. Too bloody right.
Do you know what? Did anyone actually watch the interview with Gary Lineker earlier on? Because I used to like him, I used to think he was all right, but do you know what? I just wanted to punch him this evening because he was going on about how footballers are actually very community minded. It's like, really? Are you having a laugh? Maybe the lower leagues, you know, like your Stevenages and stuff like that, which we've seen the footballers are actually going around delivering food parcels, and they're not big egotistical maniacs like the other ones, like that one that went and crashed his car at 4 o'clock in the morning after lecturing everybody else about staying at home.
Oh, I know.
You know, and it brushed under the carpet the fact that he was driving while drunk and then wrecked these poor people's cars who had probably been doing the right thing and self-isolating for the last week. You know, I just think they're overpaid, narcissistic babies. I really don't like Premier League footballers, really don't. And
yeah, and I quite agree. Yeah, I quite agree.
I love sport.
Yeah.
I love any sport. I will watch any sport whatsoever. I said to Phil before all this went down, I wanted to go to the Olympics. You know, one of my dreams is, I don't care when it happens, where it happens, but before I coup for it, I would love to go and see the Olympics. And I will watch anything, but I'm not watching football.
I don't know. I mean, people, there's some of the class of 92 from United who are now all retired, obviously, from football.
What, like Beckham and stuff?
That age group, but is it Scholesy?
Yeah.
And Phil Neville, where they've got a hotel and they're allowing NHS staff to stay there free of charge. So they can safely isolate from their families. And that is the community. And the fact that they own Salford City and it puts a lot of money into youth schemes and things like that, that's what football should be. And it's now all about paying stars who fake a dive. I mean, the number of them who do all this business. And you see in the replay that they're nowhere near them. They haven't touched them at all. I'm sorry, but in Matt Busby's day, they'd have been sacked.
Yeah.
And in Matt Busby's day, as a gang of lads, they would go and play a match somewhere. They might be staying overnight. The manager would have to come or the captain would come and ask permission from Sir Matt Busby. Can the lads have a second pint of beer?
Yeah.
Because they weren't just allowed one. They were in training.
Yeah.
And the worst thing they did for the game was to get rid of the maximum wage. And
because it's people like Jimmy Hargreaves and stuff, they were probably paid the equivalent of like 60 quid a week or whatever, weren't they? They weren't paid a lot of money. Bobby Charlton, yeah.
And what's the one that died the other week, who was one of the Munich survivors who dragged people out of the plane? Saved so
I know.
Lives. Irish lad.
I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
I can picture him. I mean, that in my family's history, because my dad's family grew up near Old Trafford, and it's just referred to as the Theatre of Dreams in our house, because to my dad it's a cathedral.
Yeah.
And he grew up going to watch the lads training and sitting with Matt Busby, who used to bring sweets and food for the poor kids.
But like you say, it was different. It was community in those days. Now
it absolutely was, yeah.
You know, don't even look at me. Honestly, entitled. That's what they are, and I don't like them.
See, my brother has the distinction of having been ran over by George Best.
Excellent. Was he drunk at the time?
Not in a car, I hasten to add, and he was sober.
Blimey.
He was on Langworthy Road in Salford, and
it must have been the only time.
He owned a number of businesses. It was before he lost his way, bless him.
Yeah.
And Caroline Ahern, as Mrs. Burton, did ask the killer question of, do you think you'd have been as thirsty if you hadn't have been running around playing all that football? And
she was a genius.
He took it in good humour, bless him. But he ran out of the hairdressers that he owned. onto the street and straight over the top of my brother, who was a toddler, and knocked us both over and picked us up, and he kissed Colin on the forehead and dried his tears and all the rest of it, and he picked me up and made sure I was okay, and then he checked with my mother, and are you all right? I'm so sorry, and it was entirely my fault. And all my mother could say was, "You're George Best." Absolutely open mouth. Did she get his autograph when my dad's got all these brothers living at my great-grandmother's? There's 5 of them there, all Man United mad. Does she get an autograph? No. Oh, George Best. Oh, my goodness.
Do you know?
And then he gave her a kiss, and then he ran off. Now, when she goes home and tells my dad afterwards, nobody was allowed to wash Colin's head because it had been kissed by George Best.
Yeah, but if she was a real Man United fan's wife, she would have actually said, "Oh, you know, what you need to do now to make this up to us is come to my house and have afternoon tea."
That would have been the thing to do, and my dad would find out on it forever.
Yeah, he would have been so happy, wouldn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, it's my bedtime, you know, Mrs.
Is it? Are we going to say good night for the evening? Who've we got?
I think only that Imogen Sadler's watching anymore.
Oh,
you know.
I think we've got Rita.
All right. Okay. Is Rita still with us? Bless her.
I think so. She's a star.
We haven't chewed her ear off enough yet, then.
No, possibly not. Well, cool. I think I'll let Emma finish with her tea and say good night for the evening and say thank you everybody for watching. And
thank you
I need to now look for the end line video button, and then we can just wave.
We'll see you tomorrow.